Hi guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you the rationale behind our fourth webinar, which is on financial well-being. I got inspired by this book, which means from zero deposit to over $1 million, and it's written by a Taiwanese. It's a very interesting book because it doesn't tell you which financial product to buy, but it started off with fixing our own mindset on how we approach value, how we approach money, how we approach finance, and how we can still have like a very good quality of life without sacrificing a lot like our previous generations. This Taiwanese guy, his name is Wang Jiguan. It's he did explain at the end of the book why he was writing this and how some of his friends actually kind of like doubted his ability to be able to write this book. The thing is, he's right, because we are all facing a lot of QE. We are all having low interest rate, and we're having tons of inflation in a lot of the countries. So it's not just my generation, the millennial, having issues of fighting against the inflation. Is actually an issue that it's faced by all of the generations right now. But it's very useful and very practical about how we should approach this financial well-being topic from this guy, because it addresses a lot of the the mindset issues that we have for money, for price, for value, for how we save up, for how we invest, not just for my generation, but also for the previous generations and for people younger than me as well. And when we were finding speakers for this webinar, we find that turns out financial well-being is the one that was a little bit hard for us to find the right speakers, because we're not talking about financial planning in the sense, we're not talking about tax, but we're talking about more about the mindset. Do you have any mental blocks, and how do you approach the entire topic? It does actually get back to our mindset, because what you find determines on what you were looking for. And also on the topic of financial well-being, we realize that there's a lot of different definitions. For our previous generations, financial well-being essentially means financial security. We don't need to think about not having enough money in a bank account. For my generation, probably a lot of people talk about financial freedom for the last 10 years, but what does financial freedom mean to you these days? Because having 5 billion Hong Kong dollars, for example, no longer means that you are financially free, probably in 10 to 20 years, given our inflation is going crazy. So what does actually financial well-being mean to you, and how do we achieve it? So this book is very practical and very simple about how we should approach this topic. And also, one of the interesting things that I realized about reading this books, not just this one, but the one previously that I talked about career well-being, and the next one I'm going to talk about on physical well-being, they all talk about how you manage your own interpersonal relationships. It's very interesting, because at the end of the day, for a lot of us, because not everyone is an entrepreneur, not everyone can be an entrepreneur, our financial well-being, it's intertwined with our career well-being. Our financial wealth is intertwined with our career stability, how we are going to climb up the ladder, and how we're going to manage our progression, in terms, and that would in line give you the salary increment, right? So everything is intertwined, and we shouldn't be just looking at this particular well-being from one single component. So it's all interrelated, and very similar to the previous book that I mentioned. It's all also about planning as well. So how you plan your career is also how you plan for your finance. In this coming financial well-being webinar, we managed to find a very interesting startup to share with you all in our upcoming webinar and also in a breakout room. And we're going to go through some of the exercises of identifying our own mental blocks in achieving our financial well-being. Is that these two Malaysian sisters, they're now living in the States. They started their own company called Moneyboss, exactly to help people to achieve their financial well-being by addressing some of their own concepts and mentality towards the entire topic. And these two sisters, they are fun. They are definitely very competent. And they are now, because they're now living in the States, they're living in New York. They are 13 hours behind us. And this is how much we love you. This is how much we care about you, because we managed to find speakers who are 13 hours behind us to talk about this very important topic, which kind of like I know that in the back of a lot of our minds are all about, when can I retire? When can I achieve my financial well-being for myself and for my family? This is actually the question that a lot of us are asking ourselves almost every day. And I was talking with my collaborator, Fred of Twin Protect, and I'm like, okay, let's go put it on the table. Let's go discuss it. This is important. So here we go. Looking forward to seeing you on January 26th with the two sisters, Moneyboss, who are 13 hours behind us in New York, and to talk to us, how do we identify our own mental blocks in achieving our financial well-being? And this is actually why we're working so hard, isn't it, right? So again, this is how much we care about you, and do join us on January 26th. See you then. Bye.